Now, one thing that can cause problems with layer masks is when you try to select a part of them and use free transform. When you go to transform the image, it will move either the image or the mask, but it won't move both at the same time. This can obviously create some problems. What you have to remember is that when you're working with a layer mask, you have to move the entire layer. So if you need to resize something or rotate, the best way to do it is to select the arrow tool, click on the layer, which will select the entire layer, and then you can resize it or move it or rotate it, and it will control both the image and the mask. You can also flip the layer if you want to have your creature's head facing the other direction by going up to Image and then Rotate and then down to Flip Layer Horizontal. Make sure it's Flip Layer and not Flip Selection or just Flip. Flip Selection won't work on a layer with a mask on it, and if you just use Flip Horizontal, it'll do all the layers instead of just the head. Now often after you resize a layer with a mask on it, you'll see that the mask no longer takes up the entire image, or rather there's some white areas on the outside now. That's not usually a problem, but sometimes that can leave fine little lines where the black and white meet. So if you want to get rid of that white, the easiest way to do it is to hold down Alt and click on the mask so that you can see it, and then just use the paint bucket tool to fill in those white areas with black. Now in a lot of tutorials you'll see artists use the gradient tool on a layer mask. The way this works is to have your mask selected and you draw a line with the gradient tool, and when you let go, your mask has been replaced with a white to black gradient. That's not really helpful to us here, but what we can do is hold Control and click on the mask, which will turn it back into a selection. And then when we add the gradient, it will only affect the selection. So this can be a good way to sort of fade out one edge of the creature, probably the one where it blends into the other body parts. You can see what that's done is created a small little gradient there from white to black. And in a layer mask, anything that is gray is partially transparent. Another way you can blend edges, especially with furry creatures, is to use that grass brush technique we looked at before. Use the grass brush to paint directly on the mask, and you can have an edge that looks like fur. There are a lot of other brushes that could be really effective on layer masks, so feel free to experiment and see what effects you can create.